Nothing like some good rock and roll, huh? Anyway, hi, I'm Rick Zanotti, and this is Tech Down Over. I am joined by my good friend down under. It is Jeff Blanchard coming to us from Melbourne. Jeff, how are you?
Good, thank you, Rick. And another busy week sitting at home.
Busy week sitting. I know we're all sitting. Well, actually, we're sitting at the office, but still, it's. I just wonder if this will ever end. Joining us in a moment or two, it'll be Harold Muliati. He's on the video switcher and show production. Here we go. This show is sponsored by Relate Corporation. Digital learning development, media development, corporate video, management consulting, and more. Visit us at www.relate.com. Thanks. And we are back, and there is Harold.
Here I am.
Here I am.
I was just going to say, I just can't wait until I can get back onto that surfboard with my microphone.
Yeah.
That's funny. When they get so wet in the ocean, it's just not the same. Anyway, today it's about collaboration tools. We are all living in an age of insanity, and where healthy people are being quarantined and all sorts of. Now, Jeff is the only person I know that likes being home. He wants to stay home, but that's okay. That's okay. Actually, I know other people that like working at home too, so it's not bad. But we're going to talk about collaboration tools, even though you probably all have your tools. There are always other tools to look at. And we're going to talk about a new one, which is called Bluejeans. Bluejeans is not what we're wearing. It is from Verizon, and you'll see that in a moment. Jeff, you mentioned pre-show that you're working a little bit on Zoom and that you do a lot of Microsoft Office Teams.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And
I find Zoom for our company uses sort of the Teams, but outside people use Zoom, so you're collaborating with people on that. So using both of those platforms, and I just think they're really fantastic. They've come a long way in such a short time, really, I think.
They're cleaner, and I think they're faster now, too, and a little bit better. But, okay, we have a little video of something we did with Bluejeans just to show. We didn't want to try it online during the show because we haven't tried that yet. We didn't want it to blow up, or the show to blow up more likely. But so here's a video that we took about 45 minutes ago of us playing with Bluejeans. Now, we have not used it much. We have 2 legitimate licenses. We can host up to 75 people. But I got the amount wrong too. I think I said it was $30. It's actually $34, but that's for 2 users. That's 2 full licenses. That's a lot cheaper than Zoom, which is $50 per 1 user license. So, you know, it's they may have gone down. But a lot of people are using the free version of Zoom, but that limits you after a while. They drop the bandwidth, they drop the quality, and that's what happened to us. And we really didn't want to buy it. It just, we don't use it that much, and we can do other things like Skype and vMix Call for the shows. So why spend the extra money? But Bluejeans is a very good collaboration tool, like Zoom. In some ways, I like it better. It seems simpler, but it has a lot of features. Shall we run that video?
Yeah, so here it goes.
Here we are in Bluejeans. Not our Bluejeans, but the Bluejeans on our screen. This is a tool that was bought, or an application that was purchased by Verizon. They own it now, and they are investing a lot of time, effort, and money into this, and they're making it a lot cheaper than some of the other tools out there. It's not free, though I think they have a free limited version or a trial that goes for quite a while. But this costs, I think the basic price is $13 a month for 25 users. That you have one person who can run a meeting. You can invite up to 25 people into a room or into the actual meeting. We paid a little bit more. We're paying about $30 a month, and that gives us 75 people.
Yes.
And just to clarify, I got that wrong. So $13 per user per month gives you 25 people. No recording. What we're doing is we're doing $34 a month, and maybe actually a little cheaper. It may have gone down since we signed up about $5. for 75 users per person, and you can also record the meeting. So that was just one of the things that I got wrong on this, because I was thinking $30 per user. It was actually $34 for 2 users. And remember, that's 2 hosts, and then you could transfer actually hosting to other people in the middle of a conference. Go ahead, Harold.
Well, so we've got the pricing page here. It's so I guess their standard package is $10 per license per month, and that's actually gives you 50 people. I think they've
changed.
They may have upped it. It used to be 25, so you get 50.
Yeah, we got this like 3 weeks ago, and they've totally changed it.
Well, okay. Verizon, I think they've introduced this service. They bought this service relatively recently, so they've been making some changes to the pricing and stuff. And the one we have is that middle one there, Bluejeans Pro, which is $13.99 per person per month, and allows you to host 75 participants.
And that's really cheap compared to the WebExes of the world and others. So, and you're not losing much, but if anything at all. All right, let's continue.
Yeah.
Really what we wanted it for was recording. So
Good
if
lighting,
we do anything, we can record. We can't record without that, though Harold is actually recording this meeting right now in Camtasia. But if you want, Harold, you want to start recording this?
Yeah. So as you see up in the upper left here, there's a start recording button. When you push that, it's going to alert everyone in the room.
Recording has started.
With that sound.
So now everybody heard that the recording started.
And when people...
Harold is running the meeting, and I'm just one of the attendees on the meeting. And by the way, this uses Dolby HD audio. Nobody's got that as far as I know. So what happens is with Dolby HD, you get synchronous audio, meaning as I'm talking, Harold can interrupt me, right, Harold?
Yeah,
you can interrupt
I could be talking,
and
and it's not going to be like some of the other platforms where it'll just cut off the other person's audio.
And what happened while he was talking, I immediately got quiet to let him continue. Whereas in most, there's a lot of latency, and you can't really tell who's doing what. Now, Leslie just joined us. Leslie, can you hear us?
Yes, I can. Very well.
Okay, so she got it. So now we have 3 people with Dolby HD. We can all talk at the same time, but obviously that would be irritating. So any one of us could cede control of our voices to the next person, which is like what it's like in a real conversation. So you don't have that latency where you're waiting and waiting and waiting to get in.
Shall we try it?
Sure, we've been doing it, actually. Harold?
And one thing you can do...
Now Harold's back.
One thing you can do in case, like, if you were, for example, running a meeting that had like 75 people, that's our current, on our plan, that's our limit for the meeting size. What you could do is actually have it so that everyone's defaulted to muted, and then, when someone raises their hand or something, then the the person running the meeting can just unmute a certain person that's going to talk. So that way, while we do have the synchronous audio, you don't necessarily want 75 people all talking at once. That would be a bit of a cacophony situation.
Harold, in the upper right, there's some controls. One says people. If you click on that,
yeah, so we're looking at it
that
here.
That will show a list.
Yeah, and that is where you have your controls. If either to just see the other people in the meeting, or if you are the host, you can change things like you can turn off someone's camera, you can mute their mic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, just so you know, Harold, I don't see what's showing when you click people, so that's only for you.
Yeah.
If I click people, I'll see the list as well, but you won't see what he's showing. That's only for the presenter to see. Now, since you're the presenter and recording, click on the next one. I think it's chats.
Yeah, so this is the chat for the meeting. I could type a message here and everyone would see it. And you can also send direct messages to individual people, like, and it would show up in the chat panel for them. So that's an additional way, especially if you had a large meeting, you could without interrupting the conversation that's going on with voice, people could message each other or something like that. And we have a feature in Bluejeans. It won't be too useful with three people like we have here, but similar to Zoom or something, you can create breakout sessions, basically smaller rooms, with groups of people talking about a certain topic or something from a larger meeting.
Now that's a pretty advanced feature for one of these tools. That usually comes in WebExes and stuff. So very nice. That's a good feature, especially with big groups.
And with the recording feature, you have these things called highlights, where actually anyone in the meeting can do this. They can click at a certain point during the meeting, and that'll add a marker in the recording afterward that people can view afterwards, so that if there's like a certain thing or a certain point of interest during the meeting, then people can go find that really easily afterwards. And the recordings are uploaded to cloud storage after they're recorded, so you don't necessarily have to host them on a server other than that.
Now, next to chats, there's also an apps button.
Yeah, so that's where we have things like the breakout sessions. We have meeting highlights you can actually view while the meeting's still going on. The full recording you can't really look at because it's still recording it, but you can look at the highlights. And you can do things like upload and share a single video. I'll just do that here, and I'll share it. Once it takes a little bit to upload a file and process it, but this can be a slightly better way than just doing a direct screen share if you want to show just a video.
And if you're wondering, this is recording an MP4, so you don't have to convert it to anything else.
Oh,
yeah,
that's good, isn't it?
So let me try sharing this video here. Let's see. Are you able to see the video here? Or
I see the video, but I don't see it playing.
I think you have to play it. You just have to click in the middle.
It's moving.
Oh.
Yeah.
The waves are moving.
Yeah, you just have to click the middle of the video, and it will play.
It's playing.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
So that's, I guess it's similar to screen sharing, but that's if you just want to show a single video file you have. And I'll also show the, let me stop sharing this. I'll also show what just sharing the desktop looks like. So if I was to share this, then I could just show you my desktop, and let me see if the annotations will show up here. I can write stuff.
Yes, I see it.
So you can, this would be good if you were showing an application or something, and you needed to show someone how to do something. You could annotate right on there as you're talking about it. And it seems to work pretty smoothly from what we've seen so far.
Now, in here, you're sharing. Can you open your people up and see if we can see it?
I think I can. Let me see.
There you go. Interesting.
And interestingly enough, this won't give you the video feedback that some other apps will give you if you're sharing your screen and also showing the stuff you're sharing on your screen. So I'm going to...
you get a little bit of echo usually?
Usually
Do we get an echo?
Usually you would see video feedback on some of the other apps where you share your screen, but this one doesn't do it, which is cool. It's a neat touch. I'm going to stop sharing here.
Now, there is a share or create a whiteboard. We haven't figured out how to make this work, but you can launch a whiteboard.
Yeah, we were able to... Let me launch that. We were able to launch it earlier. However, I was drawing things, and it wasn't showing up for other people.
Right, I couldn't see what he was doing. Maybe Leslie can see, but there was nothing going on here. So there's a whiteboard.
Says you are receiving a presentation. I see a little crayon running around, but nothing happening.
Yeah, and that was what was happening.
I see it moving, but I don't see anything changing on the screen.
That was what was happening.
It's almost like we see your
too.
mouse moving, but nothing else.
So I'm guessing this may be a new feature.
And actually, a quick note on this, but I can actually show you the Bluejeans recording, the recording made in Bluejeans, which is going to show you
what it looked like for Rick and Leslie while I was drawing that picture on the screen. So here's what it looked like.
It's almost like we see your mouse moving, but nothing else.
Oh.
As you can see, it's just a gray.
This may be a new feature or just something that doesn't quite work right yet, because we're able to show the whiteboard itself, but not any of the stuff.
So it seemed like that feature doesn't quite work.
Now, we had a theory as to why it wasn't working, but we won't talk about it now.
Shall we continue?
Sure. Has to do with a color
being drawn on it, which I think kind of defeats the purpose.
It's a pity
So
they never saw that.
What does annotation mean? It's just when you're marking on your video like
pause?
you did before?
Yeah.
Right.
I'm sorry, Jeff, what'd you say?
I was going to say it was just a pity that they didn't see that lovely artwork of the cat that you did.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Really
nothing.
as good as
And it's funny.
house.
Like, he had a whiteboard. Our boards were gray.
So I guess if you were going to do a whiteboard,
That started playing
red,
again. Yeah.
Well, actually, what we were saying is he was actually showing a whiteboard, but to us it looked gray on our screens. It wasn't white, so it's like it never quite loaded.
Yeah.
That may be what happened. There was a permission issue, maybe. I don't know. It didn't pop up a permission issue, but
and the sound was really good. Like Harold and Leslie were excellent because they had proper mics. You were just on the camera.
that was
webcam
another
mic.
bug.
Yeah,
it
that was
would
another
not
issue.
recognize my Scarlett on the Mac, even though
Because it-
all my other applications do. It didn't.
And I have a suspicion, it's not like it's a bug, but I have a suspicion why mine was working and his wasn't. I was on the Bluejeans desktop app. He was on the browser app because we wanted
Yep.
to try the different, it lets you do both. And we were both through USB interfaces. He was using the Scarlett 18i20 like you see there. I was using the Zoom U44. So, I mean, both of them should have come in pretty easily, but I suspect maybe the browser... And again, being the browser, it could be a Firefox issue. It could be a Bluejeans issue. We're not sure yet.
And I had problems doing the same thing with Facebook today on Messenger, trying to record an audio message. I couldn't do it, where I used to be able to. So there must be a Mac OS issue going on right now, maybe with browser security. I'm not quite sure, or permissions.
Yeah, I think that'll be worth us testing, the browser app from different machines with the USB interface. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
but it was, even though it was a good example because it showed when you have a good microphone, but even when you didn't, that was quite acceptable audio.
Yeah, that was the iMac microphone, just the built-in mic.
Yeah, but it wasn't the best, like the quality that me and you always like.
Right.
But for when you've just got somebody that's got nothing else, there it was quite acceptable. Like usually you can't hear people at all; it's so echoey. But that was good that you could still understand you quite well. So just Harold, with that, when you went on, I could see like Rick was always in there. Then you was talking. Could you have made you full screen and Rick small? And then
Yeah, you kept showing me for some odd reason. I was the only one on it. It seemed.
Well, so the
Rick
thing
was on
is,
there, and then
and it's supposed to switch when we talk.
well, the thing is, I was recording using Camtasia and showing what I'm seeing on my screen, and it won't show you.
Oh,
It won't show you yourself large on the screen.
you're right.
Exactly.
That's why it was showing me. Yeah, we probably should have been in the gallery mode. It would have looked a little nicer.
Yeah,
I was going, why am I there with that?
Even in
lousy
the
lighting?
gallery mode, though, it won't show you yourself big.
Right.
Yeah.
I just didn't like. I was looking at it going, shoot, I'm totally dark in this because I'm kind of in my office. There's no direct light on me, and it wasn't reflecting off the wall. I should have put a small light up. I didn't even think
I
about it.
suppose that's right, Harold, because you recorded off Camtasia, which was recording your screenshot, not actually recording the meeting.
Yeah,
Because the
'Cause I was
meeting,
going, why am I still there?
the recording of the meeting would have shown Leslie speaking,
Yep.
probably Rick speaking, and then Harold speaking because
Yep.
it would. But you were recording Harold's screen. That's why it was
Yep.
doing that.
Yeah.
But it seems like quite a good tool with all the different things. And like you said, with those breakout rooms, I know they have them, but even WebEx and all that. But I've still, in all this time, I've yet to hear anybody who's used any of those features on any of these things.
Well, I remember
because
on some of these tools, I've used like the WebEx one in the past. I've used Connect, and every so often the room disappears. So you're put in a room and you're gone. It's like, whoops. Now, it's gotten better. I think they fixed most of that. But I remember not that far long ago, you'd get in and go, okay, we're going to break this group out. You're going to go into that room. Goodbye. And they all take off. And then you go back, and then you say, let's bring back room 2. They're gone. They just left. They've been jettisoned out into space.
So with this tool as well, does this one have any sort of feature where, you can put out a thing like a webinar type thing where you can take bookings so you can see who's coming along or something, like you do, and say, I'm going to book a thing at 20 people maximum or something like that. So you can set like a training session. Like some of them do have, you put something out there and it manages your bookings for the...
There are apps. You can attach Outlook to it, and then if you have, it'll attach your Outlook calendar to Bluejeans. So if you have people booked at a certain date or time, I think it tracks that. It may allow you to do that, or it may allow you to connect the two so that your meetings will be inclusive of Outlook. They also have another app for, there was one other one. What was it? It was Outlook. 2 of the major ones that show up. Outlook.
Was it Google Calendar?
Oh, Teams. It was Teams.
Teams.
So it also
Microsoft
integrates with Microsoft Teams. Not quite sure
that's good. Yeah.
Why, because Teams does a lot of this as well. It may be a little bit different. Because Teams also has those same kind of collaboration tools for sharing.
And there was one thing I didn't cover in there where I said, I didn't say that you could lock your room so that once the people are in there that are supposed to be, you can just stop anyone else from coming in.
They can never leave until they've been COVID tested.
They can't shut down their feed. Their computer stays on and locks into that.
That's right, forever. And then the COVID people come and test you.
That's actually a good feature, Harold. It sounds like a silly thing, but locked, so at least you can say, because there's nobody, if somebody's late, there's nobody coming and interrupting that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, no, you just kidding. No, we're all here. That's locked in. So
alternatively, at a certain point, you can set it so that all the new people that come in are going to start out muted until you unmute them. You can also do that. So that they give you a few different options. And one feature in this that's that I thought was pretty interesting actually I show it next in our video here, but there's a remote desktop control thing.
We want to show that?
Yeah, let's see that you can do in here. If two participants are using the Bluejeans app itself, because you can join either using browser or the app itself, then one person can request to get remote desktop control of another person.
Right.
Yeah.
Leslie, can you take control of the screen?
Let me try. You can also lock it. You can also prevent me from doing this.
Right.
But I'm going to try to take control at this point.
He doesn't give you control?
Your apps.
Harold, can you give her control?
Let's see.
Yeah. Usually you would give her control, I think. I don't think they can steal it from you.
I think she'll have to go to people
it's
tab,
a request.
and then
they don't just take
click
it.
on my name, and there should be something that says request desktop control.
Request desktop control. Okay. You should see the request.
Now you're on.
All right, I accepted it.
Okay, request sent. Ooh. Okay, so I got now the control, and
so now
for
you're in the
example,
video he shared.
I'm in his video. Now what I want to do is possibly show something on mine, right?
No. You have control over his screen. You're controlling
I have control over his screen. Okay. So what do I do with his screen right now?
Well, click on people.
Click on people.
So my taskbar is on the right side there. You can bring up the Bluejeans app and then open up people.
I have people up.
I think you have it open on yours. Can you open it up on mine? Like, can you see my taskbar on the right side of the screen there?
Let me close my... I see your taskbar with, for example, Edge or...
It's going to be in Bluejeans, the B down there.
B. Okay,
yeah.
So I'm going to go B. And then what do I do?
Is it bringing it up or it's not?
Well, I have your little...
There we go. We're seeing people now.
You are sharing screen 1.
Yeah, you're now in his screen. So you're on his screen. You're controlling his machine.
Okay.
Okay, Harold, take back control now.
Quick, before I ruin something.
Okay, so I could do that, and yeah.
Okay.
So I guess for a quick introduction, that'll give you an idea of some of what Bluejeans can do. We don't know it yet. We've only had it for a very short time, and we haven't really played with it much, but this does support, our version supports up to 75 people for about $30 a month, and that includes recording for, I think, $13 a month. You don't get recording, but you get all the other features, which is pretty nice. There's a lot of features in this. And that one gives you 25 users, I believe. But if you go to bluejeans.com, I believe that will get you to the site. Again, it is owned by Verizon. They have very aggressive pricing, and the package is nice. And keep in mind, Dolby HD audio, synchronous. So you don't have any latency issues with the audio. That's quite impressive. I guess that's it for this collaboration tool. Very new in the market, has a lot of nice functionality and features. Some of them, we're not sure if they work well or not, but we haven't gotten it to work yet, like the whiteboard, but I'm sure it's just something we don't know what we're doing yet. Anyway, that's it on Bluejeans. Thanks.
And one thing I should have mentioned there, to do with the screen sharing your desktop or a window or whatever, is that we're a bit used to WebEx, where you have to have control of the presentation in order to share your screen. In Bluejeans, you don't have to. Anyone can click the share screen button. It's just if you're not the host, it'll be a request, so the host can then let you share your screen after you click that button.
I think the best thing I found out of that was that the audio, where you can all talk over the top of each other like people do in real life. Because even though you don't want people to do that, but it's always, somebody might say something and people keep talking because they can't hear you, and then you feel like you're butting in too much words. If someone, what was that, Jeff? If you just, they can hear you. And that was quite good because you could hear Leslie, you could hear Rick, you could hear Harold quite nicely. It wasn't sort of
and we were sort of interrupting each other, but you could hear all three of us at once. Now we should try that with you one day. We'll call you up using Bluejeans and see, because that's pretty far. So see how the latency goes or how noticeable it might be.
Yeah, because that's where we get into trouble on this. It's not so much I don't think it's the platform we're using. It's usually because of the distance that sometimes that signal is a second delay.
Yeah,
and you just,
Jeff, do you hear me?
So the audio. Yes. Yep.
See, but there was about a second there.
Yeah, there is about a second there, and I know that because even on my screen there's just that, and it's just that little bit that makes that big difference when you want to say something and then that person doesn't hear you and they keep talking and then you just can't get in. So
if you're watching the show, one thing we try to do is be polite to each other when somebody's trying to get in. We're in the studio, so we have the best latency. We have very little latency. Jeff being 7,000 miles away, it's a far jaunt. As we're talking, he's got I noticed the last time when we just did this was about a 1 second delay. But 1 second when people are talking is quite a few words. So we bump into each other, or Harold will bump into, and so we try to always be conscious of, oh, wait, Jeff, go ahead, or something like that. That way we all know where we are, because it's so easy to run over somebody because of a second or two.
And that's why you'll see every now and then there's parts of the show where nobody speaks because everybody's waiting for somebody else to say something. Nobody does.
Yeah. So we're trying not to step on each other because it's so easy to step on each other. And it becomes tricky sometimes, and sometimes we have more latency than others. It just depends on what routers they put us on, how we're being filtered. I mean, for all you know, instead of heading from the Pacific straight over to, we may be going through Europe. We just don't know where they're routing us. So it's kind of interesting to figure out what routers are jumping where and how good the bandwidth is. And depending on the time you're on, bandwidth is even more precious.
And like Rick and I've found when we have a chat on, like, say, Skype, on Rick's Saturday night, when it's Saturday night in America, when everybody seems to be on the internet and on YouTube and on Skype and that, we keep getting cut off or it goes slow and all that. But it's
last week we were talking for almost 2 hours, and I think we got cut off 8 times. It dropped us. It dropped us. And then I found out that if I just left it alone, in other words, at one point when it dropped, I would just hang up and call back. But I found that if I waited about 30 seconds, it would automatically reconnect us.
Yeah, but even then, it's amazing. We moan about that. Can you imagine 15 years ago thinking you could just click on a button and have a chat with somebody face to face? But I mean, we just take it for granted. It's just, this is ridiculous. So how great's this? TV studios used to have hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of things, and what they couldn't do, they couldn't move while they were doing it. Now I can do it on my cell phone and have a chat with you while you're walking, and that was.
Well, actually, we've done this. Jeff and I have done this. I'm at home. And, we have a big hour difference between Australia and Los Angeles. And so one time I called him, and he's in his car. And he, on his iPhone, we had a whole conversation for about 35 minutes while you were driving home. And he didn't drop once, and it was pretty clear. I mean, it's amazing when you think about it.
I wasn't holding the phone; it was in a holster. So, but we had the conversation. Then I was out with the dog and walking with the dog, and we had a conversation then. But it was
you were on the beach or a shore, and it was perfectly clear.
But it's just amazing how, with that movement, you could quite understand losing signal on that. But we just get so spoiled with the technology these days, and it's just so great that all the different features.
Well, it's funny. We lose the signal most when we're on strong computer, good bandwidth. Go figure.
Yes, that's not strange. Yeah, because you always think it's your bandwidth, but you check that, and there's plenty of that going on.
Yep.
One thing about Bluejeans, sort of tangentially related to the bandwidth discussion, is that I found that while the recordings it creates are adequate for probably most things, they're a little low on the bit rate. I think it maxes us out at like 1200 kilobits per second compared to the Camtasia recordings I was making, which are like 7000 kilobits per second. So depending on how much information's on the screen, or how much different stuff you need to catch on the screen there, it may or may not be enough for you. But of course, if it comes with your subscription, then it's a nice feature, definitely. Although I would like if they let you have it create a larger, higher bitrate file.
There's no control over that, right?
No, and I'm guessing because they probably want to limit.
Oh, actually, you know what? We didn't check. There is an administrator setting. There may be some default settings.
There may be.
We haven't checked, so we'll have to take a look. Next week, we're going to try to figure out what some of the issues and call support and see if we can get them resolved.
Yeah.
The thing is, with most of the recordings, most of the time the recording is only needed there for reference, not for a high quality thing, because it will be because you just want to see something to say. You don't have to take as much notes, so you can refer back to it, and you probably will only watch it once. And it may have a feature, I don't know, that you could have just for a webinar feature, which, because you're only broadcasting, nobody's going to be looking. Can you broadcast and record it at a high. Well, if you're doing that, you would record it locally anyway. You could say, well, I'm going to broadcast this, but I'm recording my camera feed, and that's what I'm going to record my computer feed, like Harold did anyway. So you do your own that way.
Yep. That's pretty good. It's pretty good. And nowadays we need collaboration tools. I'm sure this is all part of a new generation of tools, and we're going to see more and more of these kind of tools come out. We should talk about this, but have you seen, and this runs only on a Mac, Jeff, it is called Ecamm something or other. And it allows you to basically be like a vMix or an OBS. Ecamm, what was it called? I saw something on it the other day. Have you heard of that one, Harold?
I haven't heard of that one. No.
Ecamm, not live. What was it?
Ecamm Live. That's right.
Ecamm Live. It is Ecamm Live.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't really know about it.
I've heard that before, but I think that's been around a while.
It has, but they said it's one of the best for doing switching on a Mac, and it's just very clean. Simple but clean, and I don't know. That's not free, but it's
Someone
pretty cheap.
was telling us about that, right? Was it Gina?
Maybe.
It may have been Gina.
Yeah, I think it's somebody. I know we talked about it once.
Yep.
And it was quite
Ecamm
a while
Live.
ago, though. So it's
Well, they were saying that's one of the easiest on a Mac to do switching with. I think it runs on Mac and Windows. I'm not sure. Yeah, it's interesting.
It's like a lot of the tools. They're not too hard to do the switching. It's just the hard part about switching is if you're talking is trying to do it without looking away from the screen all the time to look at your things to click on. It's being able to just click on the button, know that you're on number 2, and just click like that you've got key control that you like I've done. If you know you've got your finger on 1, 2, and 3 button, make sure you just got 3 shots.
Well, show Harold, show them what we're using for the switching.
Show the Orbit?
The Orbit. This thing is great.
Let me find a picture.
I think they're about $100 now. When they first came out, we bought them. I think they were still under a special. It was like $30, and it's a really good USB controller. It's a MIDI controller, basically.
Yeah, so it looks like that.
DJs use them. They're just really nice to work with, and it's very easy to memorize where your fingers are because you've got 8 keys on one side and 8 on the other.
And you have 4 banks of buttons down there in the bottom, so you can switch through your different. I guess you could have 64 different ones bound if you count all those banks.
Mm-hmm. It's kind of nice.
Well, that's the sort of thing you need if you're doing it yourself to do the smooth switch without looking and clicking on things.
Yep.
And also when you're clicking on things, there's noise where you don't want that as well.
Right, this doesn't make any noise. It's got very soft switches. Also has very good lighting on it. Can you show the real one, or is it connected?
We don't have a... Oh, you mean just put it up to...
Yeah.
Well, it's on the USB tether right now.
Oh, okay. Might be short.
Yeah, here we go. What am I showing here? Well, you can see the lights here. Let me go to different banks, and you'll see that they're lit up differently.
Yeah, it is actually small.
It's a center with just a big knob, like a turnable knob.
Yeah, and you can actually use that for certain things.
Yeah, it's a jog wheel, and it has a... I mean, it doesn't necessarily like stop when you get to the end, but you can see from the light there that it'll, fill it up. Or.
And at the top, you've got some quick, like the cut and fade. You can make a cut and fade button out of it, and so it's very easy to do a lot of things with it.
I suppose you could set that up with with a editing package as well, couldn't you?
Oh, you could. Yeah. You could
as well. So, yeah.
Well, we are at the end of our time. We actually went much longer than I thought we would, 40 minutes. So we hope you enjoyed. If you have any questions on what we talked about, please put them in the show comments below. And again, we'll have information on Bluejeans if you're interested in that one. It is a nice, fairly new tool, very well priced with some really good functionality and features. And that's bluejeans.com, I believe. I think that's what it was. So really good. So we will see you guys next week on Tech Down Over. Have a good one, everyone. Bye-bye, guys.
Bye, everyone.
Bye for now.
Wow.